That's the way it is. Yes. Okay.
Okay, we're
No,
live.
wait, you're supposed to show with that. Okay. All right, guys. Hello, everyone out there. This is Lost Silver Productions. Been a while since you've seen us doing anything with this channel. Miss us? I hope you did. And we are here for Game Show Talking Fun tonight on this Friday night, February 16th of 2018. I'll just get the crew. Wait, I'm already getting pinged here. What happened here? Who is pinging? Okay. So okay, yeah. No, you were right, Dave. Yeah, Woj can't swing by or whatever cases. Elliot actually says he's on the actual radio. I'm curious doing what if somebody could uh and find out what's going on. I'd be very curious myself. So anyway, but while we're dealing with that business, okay, you guys know the rest of the gang here. If I can just get my windows to work. All right, our usual group of Scott Goldiner and David Hammond, both ready to join us here. So how you doing, guys, tonight?
Oh, I'm great.
Yeah, yeah. For those that not in the know, yeah, David just recently had to. Yeah, he just recently moved to North Carolina. You're seeing him in his new digs for the first time, and yeah, nice place you got there.
Thank you, my friend.
Yes. Yeah. Now remind me real quick. You were saying you because you've been in West Virginia practically your whole life, right?
Yes, and
So what were exactly again were the circumstances as to why you made this big move?
uh, the long and short of it is my job dictates that I need school to be in session for me to stay employed. There has been a teacher strike in West Virginia now for almost a month, and I needed to go where I could get employment.
Gotcha. And just for people not in the know, you do what is it that you do?
I referee basketball, ball wrestling, um, combat sports that kind of thing. I could have made a living um, just being a ref for combat sports, but it's not a way of life considering how far I'd have to drive to do it.
Gotcha. Well, Avent, we're glad at the very least that the move was safe and sound, and hope you continue doing the things that you got to do. And while we're talking about new ventures, new paths, or whatever, I'll give Scott a second to the floor for a minute because I know you're in the middle. For people that don't know, you're in the middle of a new venture for yourself too, or at least you're trying
Yes.
to.
Yep. I was at a interview this past Wednesday over at the Sands in PA.
So, well, here, so that people are aware of what you were interviewing for. What have you been up to recently?
Interviewing for doing poker in the casino.
Yeah, Scott has been training the last few months with a school in the city for being able to deal different kinds of cards and stuff like that. You told me you really wanted to get into blackjack. I thought you said at first, right?
Craps.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, craps is your big game. Yeah, for those that aren't aware, yeah, Scott has like a sixth sense when it comes to craps or whatever cases, or at least that's what I call it, because he tells us constantly about his trips to Atlantic City at least once a month or whatever the case is, and like you always come back with like at least an extra 100 or so in your pocket every single time.
Right. And then after my interview, I went and I signed up for the card for the Sands, and didn't really go with my normal bankroll that I normally go to AC with. I just played with the
Your
money.
intention, you were there to interview, not to play, but
Right. But afterwards, and I met up with another friend of ours up there who wanted to meet up and at least have lunch up there at the Sands.
no,
So that could be
I get what you mean. Yeah, but well,
that's an Yeah, we all know who he is. It's Elliot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right. Well, we hope that that works out for you. Just
Yeah.
keep fighting, keep practicing. I promise, one way or another, some combination of us will help you get a game going to help you practice and get over your hiccups there. I know you were asking me about that the other day, so we'll do that. Anyway, all right.
No
So
problem. I moved further away from him instead of closer.
well, no, we've been trying to figure that out. Yeah, no, because it's tough for me and my group, Dave. Because of the fact that Scout has to come to us to be able to play, and remember, it's harder for me because we got the distraction of kids and stuff like that. So take it for what you will. All right, we will get into some general smash or trash in in a moment. There's nothing directly pressing in the news right now, although a couple of things have happened recently we'll just touch base on. But before we do that, and both David and our silent producer have given me the permission to do this, because I don't know how well you guys know me from my different ventures over the years and stuff like that, but I'll just say for for the record, if you know anything about me, you know that I am not a political person at all. To be honest with you, I think both parties suck. Okay, they just I'm not a fan of the Democrats. I'm not a fan of the Republicans for for different reasons. Like I said, both have their rights, both have their wrongs. But a lot of people, obviously, in case you've been living under a rock, a lot of people are aware of the events that took place this past Wednesday down in Florida with yet another mass school shooting at a high school and stuff like that, and it's been causing, just like every other one of these does, and also just like the concert in Vegas, in October, when that shooting happened, and just everything just keeps on happening, shooting after shooting after shooting in this country, and nothing ever changes. And I know a lot of people are going on the Republicans, about this because they're the ones that are in the NRA's pocket, or supposedly whatever. Like I said, I don't want to point any fingers. I'm just that's just what people say. Okay, it's all hearsay. I'm not here about the hearsay. Okay, but we've been dealing with this no matter who has been in charge, not just in the presidency, but also within Congress, on every level of the game. Okay, state, local, national, doesn't matter. No matter who's been in charge, these things keep happening, and all we get from Congress is the whole thing of, oh, our thoughts and prayers. Yeah, that, and this time really that statement has been going over over the top, because I think we're all in agreement here, guys. People are sick and tired of hearing Congress people say that.
Can I say something real fast?
Do anything else? Go ahead.
One of our friends, Trevor.
Yeah, we know him well up there in Canada.
Yeah.
Miss you, Trev. How you been?
Yeah, if he's listening, how you been? Let me. He said something that was profound, but really hit the nail on the head. Considering what has happened. Let me.
Oh, you're trying to look for it. Well, here. Well,
yeah, I got it here. I just got to let it load.
No problem. Well, here, while you're looking for that, I'm just going to share this thought real quick, because a little while before we came on the air, I happened to run into this article, and I think this is something that I think a lot of us could afford to do this, because then maybe perhaps it'll send the message to to our Congress people, again, no matter what side of the political coin they're on. There's a woman in Michigan who sent a letter to her representative in the state of Michigan, who happens to be a Republican. And in the letter, she also included a check with it. Okay, you know how some people will contribute to people's political campaigns for whatever it is and stuff like that. She wrote the message to the congressman, Jack Bergman in Michigan, saying, "Dear Representative Bergman, since you and your colleagues in Congress seem to feel that thoughts and prayers are the solution to mass murder, please accept this contribution." And she submitted a check with the letter, and the check is made out to Representative Bergman for the amount of thoughts and prayers. That's what she wrote next to the dollar sign. That's what she wrote in the written description. That's what she made out the check in the amount of thoughts and prayers. And she said she did it because she said she hears the same arguments each and every time it happens, and each and every news and media person say, contact your congressman, and Congress doesn't do anything. And the thing has since gone viral, and it's triggering a lot of other people to do the same. And quite frankly, I think we should you should all do it. Basically, give your Congress people, no matter what message, no matter what side they're on, just say, hey, listen, you ain't getting another dime out of my pocket until and this check is the proof, until you guys get all together and fix this. Stop. Enough with the thoughts and prayers. We don't want thoughts and prayers. We want this fixed. We want
a solution.
Yes. And I especially here, and this is part of the reason why I'm saying this, because you guys know well enough, hopefully from seeing our shows in the past, I am a school teacher. I teach high school math in a few towns away in Belleville, from where I live in Saddlebrook or wherever. I've been teaching 17 years, my 14th year teaching there. And every time I hear one of these things, it just absolutely just blows my mind that we keep going through this vicious cycle over and over again, multiple times a year, and nothing changes. Okay. And it's just, and it needs to be said. So many places that I've been reading and researching, the reason why the change doesn't happen, because the NRA, and especially, well, maybe not even so much the NRA, but especially the people who lobby for keeping guns the way that they are, or whatever. It's almost like they've got this country, by the set, whether your set is down there or up here. It's just like they control Congress completely. And it's like anybody who tries to do anything against them, it feels that, forget, that's it. They're just, it's like they'll do anything to get them out and keep their yes men in and stuff like that. It's like, and look, again, all we want is just for things to make sense. We don't want to it's not about taking guns away. That's not the issue. Just making it sensible in terms of who's got them and who's don't. And forget about this mental illness thing. I've also read plenty of things that said the mentally ill aren't going to grab for guns. They're going to grab for something of convenience if this is really their plan of action to kill. All right. It's a matter of people who should not be legally owning guns are finding ways to these guns, and that's how they're using them. That's there is always a plan to those things. There's nothing mentally ill about that. Okay. And I understand some of you might not like what I'm saying here, or you feel that I may be incorrect about that. If so be it. And please, YouTube, whether real people from YouTube are looking at this or the bots or whatever, just please just understand where I'm coming from. Okay. And I swear, guys, if we get in trouble for me being on the Apple box like this or whatever, okay, I promise I'll take the strike, and B, I won't come back. All right. So this way you don't have to deal with me saying anything like this again. But please, people, just come on, Congress, once and for all, just let's end this. Okay. And especially, with Trump in charge. My father-in-law used to work in the Newark courthouse and stuff like that. He met Trump actually once, because Trump's sister had become a judge working in the Newark courthouses or whatever, and he was overseeing her security and stuff like that. So my father-in-law got to meet Trump on the first day, shake his hand or whatever, and he told her, take care of my sister and stuff like that. That's the God's honest truth. So I mean, in the vaguest way, I've got a connection to Trump in the most extremely vaguest way. Okay, but it's still, I mean, it's like, I know the guy can handle himself with class if he wants to. Please, Trump, now is the time more than ever. Okay, prove to us you can do this and change it around once and for all. Help us out here. We really all need it. We all want it. Okay,
all right.
So are we? I hope we're all agreed on that. Doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on, Democrat, Republican, or whatever, because I'm on neither. So
yeah, we agree on that.
Right? Okay.
I did too.
Now,
yeah,
this is what, as far as what Trevor said, and I'll leave it at this. And folks, keep in mind, Trevor is from a country where they have strict gun control laws.
right. Yeah, he's up in Nova Scotia, for those that don't know.
Right. He says no, gun control won't solve everything, and it won't stop everyone who wants to do something awful. But it'll solve a hell of a lot more than your quote thoughts and prayers unquote will. I can tell you that.
Yeah. There's a way to do it. We gotta just once and for all just get ourselves together and just get past party lines and everybody else, and let nobody else answer for us, and just do it. So that's just how I feel about it. All right. So I thank you guys for just letting me just have that piece. So not just you two, Scott and David, but also you guys out there, watching the show, and just again, just I hope you understand. Please, if that's what you want to comment about in this video, just leave it on this video, and just let me know what you think. Well, just already said he's watching, and he said he echoed beautiful sentiment on what I said there. So, but please offer your comments as well if you can. All right, okay, all right. Let's get back into happy times here, or whatever. Let's let's get into our bit of smash or trash and stuff like that. Like I said, nothing extremely like absolutely present major going on right now in Lord game shows, but a couple of minor things have been happening recently that are worth noting. For the first thing, a couple weeks ago, it was announced Millionaire is getting yet another season. Chris Harrison has been keeping the ship pretty well righted out there in Vegas, and so things are going well with that. And not only that, another Millionaire news item. It apparently reports came out, I think, beginning of this week, that Millionaire is going back to the UK as well. So I'm going to find out that I got to look up the name of who's hosting it. But in general, David, your thoughts on the continued extended life of Millionaire?
It surprises me, to be honest, because Millionaire now is not the Millionaire we know from from 18 years ago. The whole thing started 18 years ago.
Actually, by the time this fall comes around, the actual shelf life officially, the official shelf life of Millionaire now will be 20 years, because like I said, it started in the fall of '98 in the UK, and we got it a year later. So yeah, we're coming up on the official worldwide 20th anniversary, and it's going to be it's going to be Jeremy
show.
Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson is Top Gear is going to be the host of Millionaire in the UK.
Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson is going to be the new UK Millionaire host. Yeah, he takes over for Chris Tarrant, who retired from the show a few years ago because A, he wasn't up to it, and B, he also legitimately suffered a stroke. So which I'm not sure a lot of people knew about. So for the combination of those reasons, he that's why he's not
quietly retired from show business.
Yeah, but in general, are you still happy to see Millionaire keep going, David?
I'm happy to see Millionaire keep going. I would like to see the show return to the original rule set, but I don't see it happening.
Oh, you mean for us?
Yes, for us. I would like to see that happen. I don't see it happening. I think the UK will stick to the original rules.
Well, I'll say this: we have it back with the way they do it now with Chris Harrison. It's about as close to being back to the way it originally was that it is. The only minor difference is that now instead of phone a friend, because it's too easy for people to to Google the answer in the 30 seconds, now you have +1, the person in the audience to help you, which it maintains a little bit more integrity of that lifeline. But the 50-50 has been back for for a couple years now. All the jumps are gone. Okay. But the 50-50 is back. The audience has always been there. It never left. So really, like I said, and the original, form of the money ladder is back, just with raised numbers. So yeah, it's like I said, it's about as close to original as you could get. The only other real thing they're doing different is they're standing up now instead of sitting down.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, which is about just plain nitpicking at that point. So, all right, Scott, from your worm's eye view, your thoughts on Millionaire, both here and abroad.
Well, hey, first I'm glad to see it return back to where it all started from.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise when the news came out earlier this week that a lot of people were saying that. Yeah, it just happens like over the last weekends that the news came about and stuff or whatever. But and it was interesting. Now here's actually an interesting counter to that or whatever, because since the news came out, and I'm just literally discovering this article right now, the Chris Tarrant has actually chimed in on that or whatever. He actually says that, this is coming from digitalspy.com, he's saying that Millionaire, in spite of this news, will never return. He believes that there's simply not enough dosh around to hand out contestants the money, so the format would no longer work. He says the biggest problem it was about making someone a millionaire. It's got to be that sort of money. You can't call it Who Wants to Win 50 pounds. It wouldn't work. You couldn't even change it to 100,000 pounds. It wouldn't be the same. So it's a very expensive show to make. What's interesting is that now there is no program that gives away more than 5,000 pounds in the UK.
There's not. And let's keep in mind, now that we're mentioning that, the two most popular game shows in the UK, Mastermind and Countdown, they have no cash prize.
Yeah, they never really did they?
No. Mastermind and Countdown have no cash prize. The only prize you get for winning Countdown is a tea set. The only prize...
Yeah.
The only prize that you win for Mastermind is if you actually win the entire tournament, you win the Mastermind Cup. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, it's all for the glory and not for the pay.
Actually want that too.
Say again?
People want the glory, but obviously people are in the games for the money. Now, actually, we should obviously make a correction, because legitimately, of course, there is one show in the UK that offers big money, and that, of course, is The Chase. So we can't totally Chris's claim is slightly invalidated, but that might be the only exception.
But the exception to that is Chase is on Channel 4, while the other two shows are on
all of the UK. We're just saying in all of the UK, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, UK period.
But in general, the BBC will not offer cash prizes for their game shows.
They did only for one, The Weakest Link. Weakest Link was the only one.
Interesting.
Okay, so then I stand corrected on.
No, that's pretty interesting. I never totally realized that, whatever the case is. But Either way, well, let's see what happens with it. I'm sure we'll hear more news about it as time develops here to see where the progress exists on that. So we'll find out. Okay. In the meantime, let's see another milestone moment of recent discussion. And
We should make that a show, Brian, about talking about Millionaire at 20.
Yeah, we'll probably get that. We'll probably do that in the summer or whatever. That probably seems the most appropriate time to do that. So yeah, we'll save that. We'll have that discussion for another time. Let's see. The next sort of milestone moment. Wait, hang on, Scott. The next milestone. Now, I'm not sure if this was last Friday night or the Friday before. I'm getting my calendar dates mixed up. But we had another milestone that took place, and this one here in the States, that with the current Wayne Brady edition of Let's Make a Deal, they just celebrated their 1500th episode, either last Friday or the Friday before it aired or whatever. So another milestone, big happening there.
How you doing, JB?
Dave, I'm sorry?
JB's here.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you pop in there. Hey, James, how you doing?
Doing good.
Okay.
Hanging in there pretty well there.
1500
I'm trying to remember. So where are you from again? I always keep forgetting.
May, Alabama.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You're all the way down there. Okay, yeah. I just got to remember. Yeah, we have so many people in the circle. I keep losing track of everybody's location and stuff like that. So here, right. Since we're in the middle of the bit, I'll toss it over to you. Your thoughts on 1500 episodes strong for the current Let's Make a Deal.
I think it's pretty good because I had to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a one and done. I really thought it was a one season wonder.
Scott, did you have the same feelings when Wayne Brady first started, or?
I still along with Brady, but he's doing.
But did you think like? But wait, did you think Scott like
of the great?
But I mean, like, did you think
Monty Hall there? So, for it reaching 1500 episodes, my hat's off to the show, and hopefully it can go for another 1500.
Gotcha. But did you think like David said that that was only going to last one season?
No, I thought maybe like at least 2 or 3.
Gotcha. I don't know. I've enjoyed it for all it's worth or whatever. And and we're gonna, in tonight's main discussion, we're gonna talk about just evolution of a show with a new man in charge and things like that. So I'm gonna hold my general comments about, because whatever I say about Let's Make Deals pretty much going to apply in a sense to our conversation with regards to Drew with Price is Right. So I'll hold my words for just a second. Hey, I'm still happy for whoever. Oh, and hey, I'll bet David, I'm not sure if you and the rest of the guys were totally aware of this. I know Scott's aware of it because when I turned 40 a few weeks ago, Gordon and Scott were there at my party at the house or whatever, and Gordon was explaining the new game that he got over to the Let's Make a Deal people and has aired since. Whoever, were you aware of it, Dave?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't aware that Gordon got something
the game that he pitched to them, and they've since put on the show. It debuted on December 12th. They revived the game Tic Tac Deal. They went under new rules. Now it's done with. Now they do the tic tac toe with dice. They put the numbers 3 through 11 in sequential order across the 3 rows of the tic-tac-toe grid. You get 5 rolls to try to get any 3 in a row to win the car.
Okay.
Duplicates and 2s and 12s count as wasted rolls. So you got 5 rolls to try to make the 3 in a row in any direction to win the car. That's the new tic-tac deal. And honestly, I like it.
Obviously, they give you a sure thing option somewhere along the way.
Oh yeah, there's a buyout and stuff like that, but it's interesting to to
There's always a buyout on Let's Make a Deal. We should know that by now.
JB, your thoughts on that?
Exactly.
Deal getting to 1,500 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. James, how do you feel with Deal making it as far as it has? Is James still there?
I think we may have lost JB.
Okay, all right. We'll find a way there. Meantime, you'll be treated to his lovely face. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I don't know why I just said that. Okay, final smash or trash thought, and we'll move into our main topic here. No sense in taking a commercial here because this is going to be our last live video before YouTube cuts off any funding to us. Yeah, and so whatever the case is. Oh yeah, and by the way, folks, yeah, in case I should have said this at the top, in case you were wondering what happened to us for the last couple months, why you haven't seen us do a live podcast here over the last 2-3 months or whatever, is because we had a copyright strike on this channel. However, it stems from a convention attention episode, which has since been removed, that we did in mid-October about professional wrestling. It wasn't so much the topic. I'm reminding you of this, Scott, okay, because it had nothing to do with the topic, but it was the fact that with the videos that we had brought into the video, me and Paul, during the conversation, which we showed footage from a Will Ospreay Ricochet match from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Paul also showed the title sequences for a couple of anime about famous wrestlers, Tiger Mask and I think Jushin Thunder Liger, that had their own animes that we did then or whatever. And we got hit with 3 separate copyright disputes from New Japan, from Bandai, and from, I forget who the third anime company was, or whatever the case is. We tried to plead our case, and New Japan said, and not happening. So we got the strike, and we've been sitting in YouTube live stream jail for 3 months. We just got out of it the middle of last month or whatever. So now that's why we're back live now and stuff like that. We have recorded some podcasts since then. I know this says episode number 20. You're like, okay, where did 18 and 19 go? We did record them. I'm in the middle of editing them. They will be coming up in the next couple of weeks, as well as whatever convention attentions we have done. Also, we've done 2 of those too. So just stay tuned. You will be brought up to speed on everything that we did. Okay, so I'll just make mention of that. Okay, I want to just get that programming note out of the way in case people were curious. All right. So now, last smash or trash item. And this has to do with last Friday, in addition to the Summer Olympics starting or whatever, or Summer Olympics, very good, ding that.
Winter Olympics.
The Winter Olympics. Oh, God. In addition to that starting last Friday, at least for us, we also, those of us that have Buzzer, were treated to the Fantastic Friday night lineup with Richard Karn's Family Feud, Celebrity Name Game, and Temptation, the new sale of the century. Anybody want to weigh in on any one of those 3?
Burn them all.
Well, which one are you thumbing down, David?
Temptation.
So,
I had, how would you say, I had the rare privilege to see what the pilot was for what Temptation could have been in the United States.
And it didn't play out that
It
way.
didn't stack up. It doesn't stack up.
For me, it's a flow issue. Because I watched the couple of episodes that were on when they had it on last Friday and stuff like that, and it just I could tell. I mean, there's pieces of it. I understand. There's just some problems with the flow of the game that it just doesn't run as smoothly as the Jim Perry version did in the 80s. Yeah, that plus the values of instant bargains to what they cost or whatever, it's inconsistent. It's just like there could have been something there, and it just wasn't. It's okay.
If I may.
Go ahead.
If I may. like I said, I was privy to see what the first pilot for Temptation was, and it was with Ed Phillips and Lavinia Nixon. And if you don't know who they are, they were the host and hostess of Australia's Temptation.
Ah, cool.
Okay, so they filmed a pilot for the U.S. version as well. Now, the U.S. version, the bonus round was you could say there was Australia's 10 and 60. Now, for those that have not seen Australia's Temptation, here's how it worked. The first 3 days were for 3 prizes of ascending value. The 4th day was for a trip. The 5th day was for a car. The 6th day was for all the prizes. The 7th day was for the cash jackpot. And the 8th day was for everything plus the cash jackpot. Now, the way they were going to do it for the U.S. is that they were going to eliminate the cash jackpot value. In other words, day 5 would have been for the car, day 6 would have been for all the prizes, day 7 would have been for all the prizes and the cash jackpot.
Okay, just take away the cash jackpot as a level. Okay, I see.
Yeah. And the cash jackpot could have got as high as $250,000 in the U.S.
well, when it's a pilot, they always grandiose the payouts or whatever.
Right.
It would probably level out to something smaller than that. But get the point.
From what I saw, from what I could understand, okay, new champions started with $50,000 in the cash jackpot. And you played
progressive numbers there. Yeah, I see.
You played 10 and 60, which you had to get 10 correct answers in 60 seconds. If you could do that, $25,000 was added to your cash jackpot.
Oh, hello.
So by the time you got to night 7, you were playing for all the prizes, and if you had won 10 and 60 all 6 times, you were playing for $250,000.
You're at 200,000.
Yeah.
So, well, who knows? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. On that subject, that's actually going to be the subject of our next podcast, our next game show talk fun in 3 weeks. Would be 4, but this was supposed to have been last week. We didn't want to interfere with the Winter Olympics. So our next topic in 3 weeks is going to have to deal with that general idea of shows that did make it to the air, and the idea of if you could change one little thing about it, if you were in charge and change one little thing from what we saw on TV, that would turn the show from to good or good to even great, what would you do? So that's going to be next time, okay? But we'll get into that. Scott, real quick, any minor thoughts about any of those 3 that are in the fantastic lineup?
Yes, to quote from Cindy, that the new Sarah of the Century should be burned with fire. Enough said.
Okay. And JB's back with us.
And agreeing with what Cindy from Game Show Garbage said about how Sarah of the Century Temptation is the worst game show remake in the history of ever. In the history of every game show remake.
Could very well be possible.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
And my 2 thoughts are, it should be burned with fire.
Okay, all right, okay.
Enough.
All right, enough. We've had enough violence talk tonight, so let's not add to the pot. So who knows? All right. Anyway, all right. Let's get into our.
What about you? Your thoughts?
Oh, okay. Oh, Wojus also has an additional thought on the thing. The fact that Temptation catered to the female gender. It was cheap as heck. It was a monster mash of other game shows. Too many steps. Rossi Morreale was totally miscast, and frankly, it should have gone to Lifetime. It didn't also help that they taped 10 to 15 episodes a day just to beat the writer's strike at the time. That's true. We forgot that was taking place at the time or whatever. Yeah, they really rushed it to the air, which was Yeah. Plus, 20th Century TV gave them no money for advertising and a shoestring budget with a $25,000 car as the top prize. No lot, no anything. Which he's true on all counts.
All the above. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, but like I said, changing the shows. We'll talk about that next time. Let's get into tonight's topic and make our way.
JB's back. Brian,
So
JB's back with.
We got you there. Whoa, and you got a big microphone. Are you with us, JB?
Yes, I'm with you.
There
Okay.
you are. Okay, good. So I make sure we didn't lose you there. I know we occasionally have our issues with some people with regards to who could see us and who can't and stuff like that. So no, I feel bad when we we miss you or whatever the case is. But be that as it may. So anyway, all right. We'll get you in the conversation there in just a moment. Right now, we'll get into our main discussion here with regards to, and there's some information I'm gonna dig up for myself to lead off the business. Now, we just recently here at Game Show Talking Fun, and like I said, we did tape this episode during Thanksgiving weekend in this past November. Which you'll see that episode soon. We recently celebrated our 10-year anniversary of this show existing from when David started on Blog Talk Radio, and he talked about that. And when you see that episode, we're going to talk about all the history. We'll have some clips and different things like that from those radio episodes. But at almost the same time that we started, Drew Carey was beginning his tenure as the new host of The Price is Right. So, and now that he is well into halfway through year 11 right now as we speak or whatever, we wanted to, yikes and then some. So we wanted to take an opportunity tonight to review his past 10 years and see, what we think about his evolution from when he started to where he is now and things like that. And here, Scott, I'll start with you. When the announcement was made that Drew was going to become the new host, what were your general thoughts on the matter?
That they should. What the hell were they thinking?
And why do you say that?
Because Drew Carey was coming off from Whose Line Is It Anyway, and the short-lived disaster of The Power of 10.
Well, we shouldn't necessarily say that specifically, because there's been a big belief, and David, you can back me up on this, so whatever case is, it was believed that The Power of 10 pilot was what led CBS to say, in the eyes of some, that he got the job, because those happened concurrently. Power of 10 and his takeover Price happened at the same time, correct?
It did. It was the pilot for The Power of 10 that really got Lester Movies to say, well, what about this guy?
Yeah, because they had in the months leading up to Bob's retirement, they had a lot of different hosts come in, and even non-hosts like George Hamilton, Mario Lopez at the time, whoever, had them come in and do test shows with real audiences. At the Price Right, they played for smaller stakes and they didn't show them on TV, but they did do a lot of actual trial runs with real hosts. However, like I said, they did it with Todd Newton, they did it with what's his name, Doug Davidson, who did the '90s Price or whatever, and
all of them, he's the one that made it to the final consideration.
Who's that?
It was between, according to what I have heard, it came down to Doug Davidson and Drew Carey.
That's interesting. Because years ago on another website or whatever. There's a website that still does blog posts, just on thoughts on the game show world, that didn't interview with Roger Dobkowitz, the longtime producer of Price is Right, with regards to the with the general notion about these trial runs of who
let me
who came
stop you right there. Let me
They
stop you
said
right
that
there.
actually, according to Roger, the process of doing these auditions really didn't yield anybody and stuff like that, whatever. Because like even Todd Newton, as good as he did, the feeling about him was that from all his years of doing the live shows or whatever, that he was, quote, too slick. So that's the reason why he didn't really get the nod, even though they gave him a second try. But it just that was just the passing, whatever. The one that Roger felt that they really was the one that blew them away and stuff like that, whatever. Because after they did these auditions and it didn't yield to anybody, they started just doing in-house just practice runs with people who came in. And Roger said the one that really blew them away was Mark L. Wahlberg. He thought, we found the guy. This is it. He's going to do this. But CBS said no. He doesn't have the recognition. He doesn't have the, that kind of thing, whoever. So CBS shot that down and like, okay, we're back to square one here. And then all of a sudden here comes Drew in with no audition whatsoever.
Trying to get a word in. David was trying to interject.
I'm sorry. Okay, no, all right. I got done my thought. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Brian. To be brutally honest, I have had a word or two with Roger, and he has said he and the production company of Price were not considered. Their input was not even thought about.
That backs up what we're saying about how they thought Mark L was the guy, and CBS. No.
They were not even considered. This was strictly a CBS decision, and this is why it came down to Drew and Doug. This is the reason why it came down to those two. Doug, the only reason Doug did not get this job is because it would have required CBS to write a brand new contract for him.
Well, he's already in the CBS family because of Young and the Restless.
Right. That's the only reason he got this job. He didn't get this job is it would have required a new contract. See, contrary to popular opinion, the people that act on The Young and the Restless are not employees of CBS. They are actually employees of Sony Pictures, who are the owners of The Young and the Restless.
Gotcha.
So,
not Procter & Gamble and those people, huh?
No. They are under contract with Sony Pictures.
Gotcha. Okay. So, be that as it may. But any event, though, no matter what way it is that he got the job, and Drew said in a recent interview when Buzzard did their Game Changers special, he said that
he turned it down twice.
Why he ultimately took decided to take the job when he wasn't really thinking about it and stuff like that. They're saying like, what's something you really love to do? And he said, I really love to give big tips. And they said, well, you get to do that every day on this show, whatever, because that's really kind of what it is and stuff like that. So part of that, he said,
Santa Claus every day.
Yeah. And I mean, needless to say, obviously, money talks at the same time. So no matter what way you slice it, okay, so now he's got the job. So we get into the studio for that first year, and I think the way that they integrated Drew into the show, or tried to, I think was really clever on their part, because if you watch the first several weeks of when he officially took over the job, they set it up where for the first 5 or 6 weeks of the show of his initial run, they had it set up where each of the 5 days during the week, they played a specific set of 6 games, and they randomized the order of those 5 groups of 6 each day. And the reason they showed it that way was because they taped 5 or 6 episodes at once with Drew, playing the same 6 games in every episode so that he could learn those games. And then in the next taping week, he would do a brand new set of 6 for 5 or 6 straight shows. And he repeated that 5 or 6 times, and they would air those in those or whatever. And then from that point forward, they would slowly issue a couple of new games into each new taping session so that he could get more and more under his belt. And ultimately, by the end of the season, he had all the games played and hopefully practiced and stuff like that. And now, Scott, if let's say you were taking over for Drew or Bob or whatever the case is. No, wait. Hear me out here. Don't start getting any pipe dreams in your head. I'm just saying, if it were you in Drew's position, okay, do you think that was, or put yourself in the producer's place? Do you like that strategy of how to integrate the new host into the show?
I would have. Well, if I was in Roger's position, I'll take it. I'll take it from Roger's position first, and then I'll take it from the host position. Okay. If I was in Roger's position during the off season, I would have had Drew there with Bob and have kind of like Bob helping Drew get integrated with the pricing games.
Kind of like what the final year of. Oh God, what's his name? Johnny Carson. He gradually worked Jay Leno into the Tonight Show.
Jay Leno, right? Yeah,
right.
So
yeah, I would have had that. I would have had, I would have had Bob and Drew there during the off season in the Bob Barker studio, going over these games, so that I would, that way he would learn it. That way Bob could have his input to help Drew to teach Drew how these games worked and everything. Have a couple people come in, like right off the street, have them come in and participate, give them something for helping out, and call it a day.
Fair enough, yeah, and obviously, yeah, in a perfect scenario, yeah, that would have been worked. But given the timeline of the circumstances, because Drew was not hired to host the show until after Bob's retirement episode had already aired the previous month. So I mean,
it was 4 weeks later. Yeah, it was 4 weeks later that Drew himself made the announcement. Hell, he made the announcement on The Late Show with David Letterman. He literally got the call. He got the job literally 10 minutes before he went on the air.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But
so
still, and then even during days when they weren't taping, then if Bob was able to come in to help Drew get integrated with the classic games that are still being played today on there, have Bob come in and help.
Yeah. Well, I think by that point or whatever, like I said, if Drew had been hired a few months earlier while Bob was still in there, yeah, obviously, yeah, it would have been easy to do that. But like I said, by then Bob was already out the door, and I think to drag him back in and do that, I don't think was really an option at that point. Because I don't think he would have been able to do that. Yeah, but obviously, it would have been nice, and it would have obviously made a lot of sense and stuff like that. But regardless of the circumstance and the combination, one thing though, as far as teaching Drew, that's something interesting that Roger explains, because remember, Roger was only there for Drew's first year, and then he got let go from the show. And he talked about in this interview on this one blog site. And by the way, the blog I'm getting this from is called "Slow Boat to the Lands of Parting Gifts." If any of you want to look this interview with Roger up, he talked about how Drew, really in the beginning, his, the rehearsals and stuff like that, he didn't really seem very receptive to the idea of wanting to rehearse or being able to like take instruction or criticism or whatever the case is, and stuff like that. And and it was something that's like, if he was being pointed out that he was doing something wrong, it's like, yeah, I know, I'll fix it next time, or whatever. And he just like something in him didn't want to hear it, or whatever the case is.
That comes from the fact that Drew is an improv comedian. Okay, you can't just cut. You got to do it this way. He's like, if I goof, I fix it on the fly.
That is something. Yeah, because obviously, it does need to be said. You're correct about that, David. Yeah, because it's obvious that you watched the first couple years of Drew's run or whatever, that a lot of his growing pains, and this is what led to a ton of criticism about him, in the early years, especially from several of the places that we frequent, places like the Matt Odger's Game Show Forum, and especially the definitive Price is Right blog site, goldenroad.net, that had such harsh criticisms for him, because of the fact that he wasn't, that this was him and his style. It wasn't doing it the way Bob would do it and stuff like that. But then, go ahead.
All right, I tell this to everybody. Okay, anyone. Wouldn't have mattered if it was Todd Newton, who goldenroad.net thought was the heir apparent. It wouldn't have mattered if it was him. He would have got that criticism, because the simple fact was he's not Bob. And let's face it, anyone that went into there would get that criticism. And I tell everybody, and this is what Bob told Drew. See, they forget that Bob had lunch with Drew before Drew took the job. And Bob told Drew, look, my days as host of Price are over. Yours are about to begin. Don't be Bob Barker. Be Drew Carey and make the Prices Right your own.
Yeah. And
so basically he did the same thing when what's his name that did Truth and Consequences gave Bob,
right
when Bob got his job with Truth and Consequences.
Yes.
That had
being on the board right
so
there.
He just
exactly the way you gotta look. You gotta look at that. Okay. You can and look. Full well from Scott from when we do our.
I want to get something in here, Brian. Hold on. So going on with what David was saying. So basically, Bob did the same thing that Ralph and him did by having lunch when Bob got the job for doing Truth and Consequences.
That's what we're saying here. Right. Exactly.
That's what we're saying here.
So Bob just honored the same thing by having lunch with Drew Carey.
Right.
And listen, Scott, I tell you the same thing for the shows that we do with Game Show Mega Mix at our conventions and stuff like that. I keep telling you the same thing. Like I said, don't try to do your impression of any of these hosts. Don't try to be Peter Tamarkin. Don't try to be Jim Perry. Don't try to be any of these guys and stuff like that. Be you. Be real to these people, because like I said, they're gonna see right through it that you're just trying to be a lame carbon copy, or whatever the case is, or however you want to describe it. You just be you. Do it right, yes, but be in your own skin. Speak in your own language, and not use your words and not the verbatim that everybody said. Because like I said, then you're never going to get the comparisons, to stop and stuff like that. Okay. And like I said, we're going to see this year, you finally turn the corner and stuff like that. That's another discussion for another time. Well, you'll hopefully see it within the, I'm hearing screams downstairs. I don't know what the deal is here. I'll find out what's going on with that. But anyway, let's move on with this, however. So, but in spite of everything, okay, the first year goes by and stuff like that, and Drew finally manages to work himself around and stuff like that. But then slowly as year 2 and things go on, you start to see, year 2, you really started to see a lot of growing pains. One of the things that was really causing the show to hiccup a bit in that season 2 was the showcases started to have some like weird, like, it seemed as though Drew was trying to put some of the improv into some of those showcases. Like you had Rich Fields eating the fried chicken during one showcase. They had one where they were making him stand on his head or recite the lyrics to 1 Week from the Bare Naked Ladies and stuff like that. A lot of weird things that
Well, well, Rod used to do something like that, I think, too, right?
Roger was known for doing things like that. He was known
No.
in the
Roger
1980s.
Darkowitz.
Yeah.
I'm
In the
talking about
1980s, well, it wasn't Roger. It wasn't necessarily Roger. It was also, oh God, what's his name? The guy
Johnny
that
O.
created Double Dare.
Mark.
Guts and Todman Double Dare, I
Mark.
should say.
Which Double Dare are we talking about?
The Guts and Todman Double Dare.
Oh, Wolpert.
He also created Woo. Jay Wolpert. There we go.
I just said his name.
Yeah. Jay Wolpert was known for getting everyone into the act during the showcases.
Yeah, I guess it's just one of those things that it just felt really. It just.
Well, wait. Speaking of, what was the? Speaking of that, speaking of getting everyone into, what was the character that Johnny Olson did once in a while in the showcases?
I think it was some kind of a
character Johnny Olson played.
Yeah.
Didn't
Johnny
do like some type of DJ
in some of the showcases?
Yeah. Didn't he do like a? Didn't he play like a?
Once.
Didn't he do like a DJ or something like in a couple of them?
Oh yeah, he had his yeah, right, that DJ character he did once or twice. Or I think I forget the name he had for it, but no, I know you're talking about.
Didn't Roddy do the same thing, like something with that too?
He didn't have a
no. By the time Roddy came around, they had cut the I guess you could say the comedy out of the showcases, and they were strictly about prize description and reveals.
I mean, Rod made cameos in showcases, but he didn't have a skit character per se or whatever, you know.
Right.
And then there was that Roger did that. Then there was that showcase that April Fool's showcase that Roger did. So I'm trying to find.
No, I got you there. So, I mean, but you could tell from these attempts at doing these things that there was a definite awkwardness to those showcases. And it's I think why you didn't see them last very long, number one. And B, the idea that it also led to, as Joey creeps in here, I think that's part of what also led to Rich Fields ultimately leaving being dismissed from the show after Drew's 3rd season, and George Gray coming in, afterward. The idea that it, Drew being an improv guy, and it's like no matter how scripted the show is, you're never going to totally make Drew not leave his improv roots. He's going to have some element. It's also the reason why Wayne still has plenty of his improv roots in Let's Make a Deal or whatever. They both managed to find their way to make the two mesh and work over the years. It took time, but they managed to make it work. But
which show like Let's Make a Deal that works? Improv works.
Well, yeah. Price is definitely a more improv game. You're right than Price is Right is, but it does still explain in general the idea why in Price's case why Rich was not a fit to that mold, and why, like I said, after season 3 he was gone. I think.
Right. Now, George, his background is comedy,
Just-
but it's not improv.
Just keep
But they
George
wanted
Gray
to
off
get
the
somebody
treadmills.
they wanted to get somebody that did have a comedy background for that for the new job as announcer, from what I understand.
Yeah,
But-
oh yeah,
but-
no. And when Rich announced
Gray
this,
off
he
the
said the same.
treadmill.
So say it again, Scott. I'm sorry.
Just make sure that in all future that we keep George Gray off the treadmills.
Okay, we'll get to those, but yeah, of course, that's a classic piece of footage. George
Now,
Gray
one
trying
thing-
to be cute and walk backward on the treadmill, and then grabbing the prize copy. Ends up falling on his keister and almost like smashing his head. Which that would have been a very scary moment and stuff like that.
And I think that was during one of my favorite pricing games.
Most expensive.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm late. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's one. That's
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Charles. How you doing?
So,
I'm sorry.
Now, Drew really starts hitting his stride.
Well,
About
hold on.
the season.
Well, before you get to
interject
Dave,
something.
Wait.
I want to ask something here amongst the masses. When did the perfect fit happen? In
Well,
what season of Drew?
because that was another what should have been a great moment and was very also awkward during the second season, and it was in the showcases because it was in season 2 that the perfect bid took place. And what made it so awkward was the extremeness to which that Drew totally no-sold the excitement of the moment, because the problem was so many of the instinct in the among the production in the studio was that they thought that the guy had cheated. So there was actually a 45-minute stop of tape so that they could figure out, okay, what the heck do we do about this stuff or whatever and things.
45 minute stop tape.
Yeah,
yeah,
hold on.
Yeah, when they cut to commercial, and obviously the people in the back recognized that he had the exact price and stuff like that. And like I said, the thought was that they thought he cheated, and so they were trying to figure out what do we do about this and stuff, whatever the case is. So I mean, ultimately they let it go, but it's but Drew, and he said this in interviews afterward, said that he thought it was actually one of the darkest days on price history because and it does need to be said, there is a small point of fairness to Drew's belief about it, because at the point that Drew was taking over the show, they had a very ugly habit of, for several years, using the exact same prizes over and over and over again. And even I, at the time of Drew's first year and even into his second, had memorized a number of prizes and saying, okay, they're giving this away again. It's this much, so I already know if they're going to win or lose, just based on that. And Drew didn't like that idea. And it was after that point, when the perfect bid took place, that's when you started seeing more new and unique prizes to Price is Right start coming into the fold. And I honestly think that was a step up. Other people may feel otherwise, but that was
that was a real.
I'm in the same boat with you, bud.
Let me stop that there. There. Now, I said that Drew really hit his stride in season 4 when they started giving him more input as to, okay, who do you want for models? What do you want to do for showcases? That kind of thing is when I think he hit his stride. But the turning point was the perfect bid.
Well, that was turning point number 1 in my book. That was the first one, because it was the second.
Now here's my thing. We know that Drew botched that. That was supposed to be an historic moment of the price. How would have Bob handled that?
He would have painted.
Okay, well, on that
happened during.
Well, here's what Roger Dobkowitz said in that blog interview, because actually he referenced this or whatever. He said, Bob and I have discussed that perfect bid and how we would have handled it quite differently. There would have been no initial suspicion of cheating or anything underhanded. There would have been no stop tape. Bob would have proceeded to drum up excitement leading up to the reveal of the showcase amount and would have turned it into a riveting moment. He would have totally embraced the event and the audience would have rejoiced in it. The celebration of the momentous event with our studio audience would have been overwhelming. Price is Right would have received invaluable press coverage, resulting with Bob doing dozens of interviews and getting great PR for the show. Bob's message during these interviews would have been, see, if you watch every day and learn the prices, you too can be a big winner on The Price is Right.
Yes, but I can tell you CBS would have hit the brakes right there and would have did what they did when Michael Larson ran the table on Press Your Luck. They would have started changing everything to make sure it didn't happen again.
Funny you mentioned. Roger brings that up too. He said, if a list is ever compiled about the greatest game show producing blunders of all time, I think the handling of the exact showcase bid will make it to the top. It certainly tops Press Your Luck's blunder of having only 5 light patterns on their board that could be memorized and was successfully memorized. He actually puts that up as a bigger blunder than Larson. But still both great moments nonetheless, regardless of how anybody backstage thought of them.
What can you say? It wasn't cheating. Both Larson and The Perfect Bid, they beat the system. It wasn't cheating. They just cracked the code.
Yeah, and people forget. You got to remember, this is Price is Right. They encourage the audience to yell out prices or whatever. If people happen to have a memory, if people happen to know what they are, what do you do?
More power to you.
It's called, you can't do anything. That's the way the game is.
Right.
Deal with it.
It's like what Bob said. It's an audience participation game show. The audience is supposed to get.
Yeah. So that's what that is. I mean, Chuck, are you in agreement with that?
Wholeheartedly. In fact, I remember this one moment that this guy cheated on Plinko.
How?
No.
You can't. How can you cheat on Plinko?
No,
there was this one episode when they're
Wait, let Chuck speak.
Yeah.
When they were trying to demonstrate the Price is Right video game, they had the pattern set for Plinko wins.
That wasn't cheating. That was a production error.
Goof of theirs.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Well, what they did?
That wasn't cheating. That was just a production error.
Yeah. Okay.
And he didn't get to keep the money.
What they did was
go ahead,
they
Scott.
gave her the winnings that she originally had, plus the winnings that she actually got on tape too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
You got to keep that.
Yeah. For those that aren't familiar, what happens was, when they were doing commercial promotion for the new Price is Right video games that were coming out, like the Wii and other stuff like that. As part of the promotion, they set up the real life Plinko. They put strings inside on the pegs so that the chips would intentionally bounce their way toward the 10,000. They had everything blocked off. Then the problem was the next set of tapings that they did on the real Price, and when they went to play Plinko, somebody forgot to remove the strings, and they didn't realize it until the person already landed 3 $10,000 chips.
So she got to keep the money. She did. She got to keep the money.
Yes.
But she had to reshoot the entire play of Plinko.
Yeah.
Had to shoot the entire scene over again.
Yeah.
They had to shoot the entire game over.
It's a boot because, hey, we goofed.
That's the thing. The show credit the contestant.
And that's not her fault.
Hold on. I want to ask something here. This is something today. She didn't have to go replay games again. She just had to replay dropping them down the board, right?
Right. That's all she had to do. She got all her chips back, and they refilmed her dropping the chips.
From scratch. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to be clarified because when you said she had to redo the whole game, I just wanted to
She still got the 30 though. She still got the 30 for the blunder though. That was the thing. Okay, so anyway, so like what David said about how the prizes changed after the perfect bid was the one like major evolution stepping stone for Drew. In my opinion, the second one was this, and it came toward the tail end of the third season, because just before the third season ended, and it was kind of evident the day that Drew's first original pricing game, one that he created for the show, debuted, when Rat Race debuted in June of 2010.
Oh my God, I love Rat Race.
Yeah, I like Rat Race too. I like it very, very good. And we're going to ask a question about that in just a minute. But in that same episode, if you looked closely, you could see there was a bit of, can you check out that, please? You could see that there was a change, that Drew looked a little bit different. And by the time the fourth season started, he really looked different, because it was about that time that the weight loss that he went through really started to show.
He looks really good. He looks really good.
Yeah. And I think really that was the other major turning point for Drew, because and he's talked about in tons of interviews since that the health problems that he was suffering and things like that, especially said one of the biggest concerns was that from the excessive weight, that his feet hurt constantly and stuff like that. And then once he lost the weight, he didn't have to deal with that. He didn't have to deal with being diabetic anymore and stuff like that. I think when he got past his own health issues, I think that gave him a new lease, and it gave him the ability to be happier and exude more of that happiness on the show and stuff like that. And and obviously that's something that also works a lot better for the Price is Right, because I think before, maybe you could, if you compare it, maybe you could sort of see some of the maybe a little grumbly attitude to Drew or whatever, even if he didn't mean it. But it might have been because of his own personal problems that he might have just been in genuine pain. I can't say that for sure, but I wouldn't put it out of reason. Dave, what do you think?
I wouldn't put it out of reason either. I mean, Drew has said, he went into the gig thinking, oh, I'll only do it for maybe 3 or 4 years, and he's ended up saying, I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
It's definitely true there. Yeah. So, and Scott, what do you think about it? Did you see a significant change to Drew when after he lost the weight? Other than physical.
Yeah, much like how I saw a significant change with what's his name that does the weather over on the Today Show.
Oh, Al Roker? You mean Al Roker?
Yeah, Roker. Yeah. Same thing.
That seems fair, fair enough. I mean, yeah, it gives you a new lease on life, I think, and stuff like that. And yeah, it shows in everything. So, yeah.
To get a little bit, not to get a little bit off topic with this, and Roker's sometimes does his cooking shows over on the food. He used to do all those cooking shows on the Food Network too.
Like Emeril Lagasse used to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems perfectly reasonable to me. Chuck, you in consensus on this? What did you see anything significant in changing Drew?
I saw his attitude change over the years. Earlier in the earlier seasons, he'd say, "Hold my hand," say "Alakazam," all that stuff like that.
Well,
but now he says it's all for the contestants now.
He was trying to build, I guess you could say, try to get the contestant involved in the prize reveals.
Although some may argue that in that regard or whatever, if maybe it was more of a question of here, hold me up, I can't stand. I don't want to make it dig, but just you never know. There's always motives to everything. Who could say?
Now let's look at besides the perfect bid. Look at all the other, I guess you could say, events that has happened in Drew's tenure as host of Price. He's
For me, I'd say,
he presided over the only $1 million spectaculars to give away the $1 million prize.
Yeah, it's true. He gave away 3. Yeah. And that first season was the only season they did $1 million things. But they've done a lot of things since though, because now in the years that followed, now it seems like I said, they don't do any nighttime versions really that much anymore if they ever do them at all. But there have been a number of big insertions, and we mean big, into the daytime thing between new games, the theme weeks, between the celebrities coming in, the dream car weeks, the big money weeks, and stuff like that, and a lot of different things. And here, I'll just ask all around here, whatever. Chuck, here, I'll start with you on it. Out of all the things that have debuted, whether it be new ideas or new games or stuff like that have happened since Drew took over the show, what one of them have you liked the best?
the themed week and the theme episodes. I like them. Mostly, me and my wife look forward to the Halloween episode every year when they do come up with some crazy cosplays.
Yes. Okay, yeah,
Halloween
that's
episode.
no every year when Price is Right comes around, except if it's on the weekends. No, they've always tricked out the Price is Right set and Drew, George. And
What about this year with What about this year with the tribute to the Justice League, Dr. Trombones?
Oh yeah. This year was especially fun. Yeah, with them all doing the superhero gimmick or whatever.
Really?
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I'll show you the picture afterward and stuff like that. No, it was they really do. Yeah, you're right. No, Chuck, you're right. They do a bang up job with that. Absolutely. Scott,
even the 70s episode, The Price is Right On.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when they did all the decade thing. Oh no, that's right. No, they did 70s as a Halloween theme once too.
And they did a carnival theme as well.
That's right. Yeah. Then they did the one theme, the premiere week where they went through 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and did all that.
That was my favorite theme week. I couldn't help but hum along to all the old themes when they did that.
Yeah, that was all good. Yeah, Scott, what was your what's been like your favorite thing to come out in the Drew era?
Well, this doesn't always have this doesn't span Drew. This spans the entire show. The April Fool's episodes.
Well,
oh God! Wait a minute! Wait.
Not happening for a long time under Bob's tenure. It's like I don't really think there was an April Fool's concept, Scott, on a Price is Right episode since the early '90s when they threw water on Holly. And that's the last time I really remember like an April Fool's incident on the show. And it wasn't until Drew came along that they started bringing the April Fool's idea back.
Yeah, when they especially the episode when they dropped the TV and all the prizes kept on breaking.
Oh yeah, they did that. They did that all show long.
Yeah, but I'm saying in general, that's always been my favorite type of episodes, the April Fools.
Like those, okay. And David, what about you? What's been like your favorite concept?
People will shoot me for this. They will.
No, we won't shoot you. We'll lynch. We'll get a lynch mob.
Oh, okay. Hush. Let's speak.
No. We'll throw you off. We'll throw you off the Yodeling Guys game.
I think the best thing that Drew has brought to Price, and it's not necessarily a particular theme episode or whatever. He forced the show to start saying, "Hey, $10,000 cash prize. Guys, this is 2000. Say 8, 9, 10. That's chump change. We really need to start stepping up the game." So you started seeing games now being played for $25,000 prizes.
Wait,
and you started seeing cash games.
And $30,000 prizes now.
Now wait, Dave. You're saying people will jump on you for that. Actually, that's an argument and this is true even on Golden Road. I think that a lot of people have loved the idea of the money being raised. People were clamoring for that for years, especially with games like Punchboard. I always thought that it's like you have 10,000, 5,000, and the next lowest is 1,000. I'm like, there's got to be a 2,500 in there or whatever. It's like
Now
it's the money, the parity in the money makes no sense or whatever. So believe me, there were a lot of people saying hallelujah when Punchy Bunch went to 25,000 and stuff like that.
I'm gonna get shot for saying this. One of my, even though it is probably the hardest game on the show,
Pay the rent.
yeah, I have to
I
say
think-
the show needed a pricing game like that. The show absolutely needed a pricing game like Pay the Rent.
And the funny
hardest-
thing about it is I want to mention this. And the funny thing about Pay the Rent is the late Alan Mitsugi, he kind of figured out how the perfect strategy and how to win.
Oh yeah, that's one that we've talked about a bunch and stuff like that. Yeah, if you're watching this, okay, a tip for if you happen to be one of those lucky precious few to get on price and pay the rent. Do not put the cheapest price on the bottom level. You will never win. Okay.
Now, the idea is to put that either on the,
but it's not true. Never do it.
yeah, never do it.
Yeah. And that's been true from the very beginning of the game. People have been realizing that, or not
The
enough
first
people have
contestant made that mistake.
mistake from us.
How did you
The first
realize?
contestant
the second
to play
hardest
Pay the
price.
Rent
Well,
made that
Oh,
mistake.
'cause you watched it like a million times.
But also from the first time we recognized it. That was the thing there, Brianna. So
Oh.
that's there. And let me
Brian, what I think the second hardest pricing game is, that's too much.
They play
yeah,
that
but
game.
that's too much. Always had its difficulties, however, and it's curious in its design. But as tough as it is, I still think it's a decent enough game. And like I said, it's making you think well enough about the price of the cars, and it's had its share of winners. So I mean, it's tough, but it is winnable. Okay, it's not impossible. You gotta just really think.
If we want to talk about games that are unwinnable, Bullseye.
Well,
That game is
Bullseye
okay.
got a nice little sleek little upgrade a few weeks ago. I don't know if you
Bullseye
saw
is
it.
winnable.
I
It's
saw it.
the
I
most
saw it.
won game on the show.
Looks a lot better. Actually.
Yeah, it was a daggone nice.
I'm talking about the original Bullseye.
Oh,
I mean, Bullseye won.
oh, the one where you had 7 chances to guess the price of a car.
That Bullseye from back in the first week of the show.
Yeah.
no.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bullseye won.
But let's see. But I think for
Now-
me and for
Scott knows what I'm talking about
in this
here.
house. Like I said, I'm big on the cash games. Although Hot Seat, the one that debuted last year, I'm kind of between on stuff like that. But I definitely like the fact they raised Punch a Bunch or whatever. A lot of people were going gaga at the beginning of this season when for Drew's 10th anniversary they raised the for that special week, they did the money on the wheel where if you got the dollar, it was an instant 10,000. And on the Friday of the premiere week, they gave away $80,000 in one showdown because they all spun a dollar and got 10,000. And the first 2 people spun the dollar for 25,000. So there was 80,000 given away in one showdown. The third person almost got 10 themselves, but just missed and if they had one more bite of corn, they would have gotten off the 90 and on the 5. So they would have had another 10 themselves. So,
Whoa.
But it was definitely good. Trying to think. Andrea, I know Andrea's a big car nut, so she loves when Dream Car Week comes around. She loves seeing those big expensive cars and kind of salivating over them and stuff like that.
Dream Car Week. I love Dream Car Week.
With Drew, we've seen 6-digit cars be played for.
Oh yeah, and one of them, a spider was won like 4 years ago, I think, like that. So it led to a woman being the biggest winner in price history for a couple of years until last year when a woman on Big Money Week won. I think it was, what was it, 210? It was either 210 or 220 on cliffhangers. She won
Wasn't even that. It was
220
240.
straight cash.
Wasn't even that. It was
$240,000.
$240,000.
Yeah, that's what. No,
Wow.
straight cash. Yeah, 200. It was either 210,000 or 220,000 straight cash. The woman last year won on cliffhangers to make her the biggest time winner ever.
$240,000. Wow.
The idea was for every step Yodeling guy went up the hill, you lost $10,000. You started with 250. Whatever money was left after the game was over, you got the keep. She got the keep. 220.
The additional handicap about that was, and the additional handicap was, you didn't start at the 0 step. You started at the 1 step because they had to be able to take 24 $10,000 increments off the 250. So if you ended up right at the tippy top at the last step without it falling off, that would be 10,000. So you had a dollar. So you were at a dollar disadvantage in that version of Cliff.
And she still managed to win $220,000.
It was, like I said, it was 210 or 220. Yeah, I forget the exact number. I'll have to look up the clip later. But make no mistake, they keep trying to do new things. A lot of the things I think have worked. Some have not. Like, a lot of people don't like the college rival concept where the loser of the rivalry has to go sit down in the audience and root for the on-stage person to lose so that they can get $1,000. Yeah, a lot of people don't like.
I want to interject on that. Cindy over at Game Show Garbage came up with the perfect way to fix that. Cindy over at Game Show Garbage.
Question for wait, hold on. Answer the question first, Scott. Do you not like the idea?
It was the whole idea about the person sitting down. Cindy came up with a whole way to fix that. So I'm just mentioning the video out there. Cindy did come up with a video on how to fix the college rivalry week.
Right, yeah.
On the
entitlement of
How'd she think of that? How'd she think of that?
Do you remember how it went? I forget.
No.
We'll mention it in the comments and stuff like that. So yeah, so some people did. Yeah, so obviously that had its detractors.
The all Plinko episode was bad.
Yeah, that was the other one. I was gonna say, yeah, the all Plinko episode, which great idea in execution because obviously, yeah, no matter who is hosting Price, it's gonna be said Plinko is the most popular game ever. But
hold it. That's not the case. Okay. Truth be told, if you're going to play an all cash game, yeah, it's Plinko. But if you're going to play a game,
an all Plinko episode?
Yeah, it happened like 3 or 4 years ago.
Thank God I didn't watch that episode.
It was for the anniversary of Plinko, that's why.
Oh, thank God I didn't watch that episode.
It probably would have been nice if they had bigger wins, but there wasn't really the center slot was just getting missed, constantly throughout the whole day. Maybe it only got hit once the whole time.
It didn't get hit at all.
No, I think there was one.
So it basically was a dud episode.
No, it didn't get hit at all.
I'll have to check the stats on that because I could have sworn it was hit once. But either way, regardless,
it didn't get hit at all.
Yeah. Regardless of the facts, I mean, it was a nice idea, but yeah, the execution that ended up happening just proves that that there was a reason why they haven't done it since. So, but
what they did in all episode of Cliffhangers.
See, I don't know that because some people have wondered, should another game get the all the show long treatment, stuff like that. And I think it kind of proves the Plinko episode kind of proved that you can't really do that. You know,
There's not enough
because
variety in that episode of it.
the repetition, first of all, is going to be a
Guys,
problem.
yo. Ryan, we're 5 minutes over.
Well,
boy.
our silent producer said if we go over on this one, it's okay because because of what we were talking about at the beginning, all the politics and stuff. He gave us the blessing that if we went a couple minutes over on this one, we can. So, but I know we're gonna wrap this up very soon, though. Just in general. But now I lost my train of thought. But I think the repetition of doing the same game over and over again. I think Plinko kind of showed in general that it's like, you can't. There's a reason that Price does 6 different games every day. You have that variety from show to show. You don't get into just a monotonous, lather, rinse, repeat kind of formula and stuff like that. So I don't think, regardless of what game it is, doesn't matter if it's Plinko, if it's cliffhangers, if it's card game or 3 strikes or whatever. I really don't think you're going to see another episode like that where it's every game is this.
Well, pricing game revivals.
Well, here that's another
episode for another time.
It's all right and stuff like that. But in general, though, in closing, guys, overall, let's try to cap this. And I'll ask this question in 2 parts of each of you. All right, and Dave, I'll start with you on this. Okay, number 1, where do you put Drew's overall grade for his first 10 years of the show? Number 1, and number 2, what do you see for Drew? Because he's been on the show 10 years. This is year 11 for him. And question 2 is, what do you see as the future of Drew on Price?
Ooh, good question.
Where do you put his grade now, and what do you see his future being?
All right, then. If I had to grade now, if I was to grade him now, those first 2 years knocks the grade down from A to B. But as he has went on, he has proven himself more than capable of being Price's host. I think as we keep going and people start realizing, hey, he's not supposed to be Bob Barker. As more people realize that grade's going to go from B to A. People are going to look back at these days and they're going to say, hey, he helmed Price after the king left his throne. And those first years were rocky, but he finally made it his own. And that's exactly what he's done. He has made Price his own.
Okay. And what do you see for the future?
I see in the future, I see that he will pretty much stay like he is. He likes, I guess you could say, he likes what he's got right now. He's got the models involved in games that they normally wasn't involved in because he wanted them involved in them. He wanted the theme showcases back. He wanted the improv he wanted his improv brought into the show. I think he's going to stay at an A.
How many more years do you give him if you had to make a prediction?
I'm going to give him another good 10 to 15 years before he says enough.
There. We'll see. All right, Scott, what's your take on his grade for the past 10 and your prediction for the future? What do you think?
Put him at, when he first started, C-. The first 2 years, I put him at a C-. Now, about a B. And then in the future, probably about a B+, no higher than that.
Okay, so you don't think he'll get an A?
He was good, but not. Bob is S class. Drew won't get higher than upper B class, and that's how I'm ranking him.
Okay.
Well, again, Scott, keep in mind, and remember, we've had this conversation plenty of times. Okay, don't compare.
But no.
Judge him on.
But the thing is, I believe Drew always being. This is how I'm ranking him. Upper B, that's it. Even
Okay,
into the
so
near
you
future,
don't
he
think
won't
he break?
B.
Okay, then. So you don't think he'll break into the realm of Wink Martindale and all that?
No, he's not going to get higher than B. He won't even touch the A. He won't even touch lower A class.
Okay.
Okay.
He's measuring. He's not measuring him against Bob Barker. He's measuring him as a host over time. I see what he's saying.
Okay. And what about his overall future?
Still in the B class. That's where I'm leaving him.
I mean, like,
How long does he have? Is what he's saying, Scott.
Oh, he'll probably do the same thing that Bob toyed with about retiring, but not really wanting to retire from the show.
But I mean, like, what do you give us a timetable?
Probably
Hi,
about the same
Brianna.
as Bob. Another 30 years into the show.
Wait, you think Drew will go 35?
He'd probably do like another 30, 40 seasons of the show.
See, oh wait, so
You gotta remember,
he'll go longer than Bob.
Drew was in his early 50s. He could go for a while.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
So I'm putting him about the same number of seasons as when Bob retired.
So you're giving him the 35. All right, we'll see what happens there. All right, Chuck, where do you stand?
So that'll be
Okay.
22 years.
Okay, it's early years. I'm gonna do this in showcase showdown format. His first year he gets 35 cents because I didn't think too much of him at the beginning of his run. So that would say about D. But but when I see him now, I give him like 85 cents. So he's gone on for a while. And I see him and Bob and Drew, I see you in your future. $1.
Disaster.
No. I'm trying to do it how they did on Price is Right. I see you in your future. You get $1.
Just, I know what he means. Go ahead.
What
Yeah.
is that?
It means goes for the $10,000 and a bonus spin. I want to see him go on as long as he did with Drew. Maybe a couple more years after.
I see. Okay, so we got that there. All right, and for me, I mean, I initially said when he first took over, I thought that at the time that he had done a decent job, or whatever. I had initially graded him as a B plus in the beginning. I understood, looking back years later, I understood that it's not really. It wasn't really up to that par that I thought there was, but it took the look at it over time to really see it and understand it and stuff like that. So early years, like I said, first 3 seasons, I give Drew, probably like a B, somewhere in the B minus to C plus range and stuff like that. But again, the weight loss probably was the biggest thing that turned for Weber, because he definitely, in the years going on, he inserted more fun things. He was more fun himself and really took his game up to the next level and stuff like that. And I can easily put him at an A minus caliber for where we stand right now and stuff like that. And as far as longevity, I will easily give him, just for the way he feels about the show and the attitude, I'll at least give him, to the end of his 20th year before we start making any talk about, whether he feels he wants to leave or this, that, or the other thing. Can I feel that he could go longer? Yeah,
I do.
I think
I
so.
do.
I think it's going to be more of a question ultimately as to how does CBS feel about keeping the show going, and if they want to keep it going, then I think that Drew will be part of the show for as long as he wants to. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. If the show keeps going, so will he. So and I think that's really the best way to put it and stuff like that. So, like I said, again, you guys may have your own feelings about it, and whatever you think, hey, leave a comment, below, wherever. We want to know what you think with regards to how you feel about Drew's history and stuff, and anything else that we talked about. And as we wrap this up, we'll go through our usual bits and business here. As of course around here, as I said at the top of the thing, this is our last live podcast before YouTube turns the money off on us or whatever. We're at 201 subscribers at the moment. If we want to start generating a coin back up here, we've got to get up to 1,000 subscribers. So guys out there, listen.
Subscribe.
Yeah, if you really like what we do here or whatever, and you like this conversation.
My headshot wants you too.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Please.
Stop screaming.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, seriously, if you know anybody that would like any piece of what we're doing, whether it's the game show side, the anime stuff, the things that we do at conventions, if you know anybody that would like our stuff, please tell them to subscribe here or whatever. Even if you only check us out once in a while, just come on by. Help us. Just produce some just real, genuine, nice, wholesome, content, whatever, and have some honest, conversation, and not be like certain other people who do things on YouTube for shock and awe and stuff like that. But that again, I'm not gonna. I've been on the Apple Box once here. I'm not gonna do. You know what I mean? Just tell a friend, have them come subscribe to us, and we'll be back here next week with a new live convention attention topic forthcoming. We're trying to figure that out, but as soon as we know, you'll see it up on the banner on the top of our front of our page on Lost Silver Productions. Follow us on Facebook at Game Show Megamix for exclusive news and content. Like us on Facebook too as you subscribe here, and all that fun and frivolity and business there.
Don't forget to do that.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, we really want to see more.
We need subscribers. We need subscribers.
Yes, exactly. All right,
Yes,
so
please.
Chuck, I thank you once again. He likes his Build-A-Bear. Yes, he just got that a couple days ago. So, and hopefully we'll get some more new stuff for you too. So stay tuned in the coming weeks. You'll see a lot of nice things. So on behalf of Scott, on behalf of David, Chuck's there, Jim Barkus, and Brianna. Jim Barkus, if you're out there, I don't know what's happening with your mic, but we'll try to get you in on another show. We'll do some things there. Yes, and Joey too. My name is Brian Spinski from the Gang of Lost Silver Productions. We'll see you next time in 3 weeks for Game Show Talking Fun. Take care.
Bye. Bye.